y'all, it's Laura and I'm back with Scrap Madness Day 8 and I have a pocket page for you today. This is the companion page to yesterday's 12 by 12 layout and features my kids at a church fair here local to us. They had a huge bouncy house, they had these great big punching bag things, and they also had a lot of crafts. So these are photos from that church fair that are kind of featuring those events, the things that my kids were the most interested in. And as you'll notice, there's a lot of color in these photos. And while I could have turned these photos black and white to make it easier for them to be scrapped, I didn't do that. I just chose to leave them in color and work with it, make it work. And for a lot of us, I think it's hard to decide whether or not something should be in black and white, whether we should just leave it as it is. I know that's difficult for me. My choice here was to cut down some of the photos a little bit smaller to make that visual bright colors a little bit less intimidating. To be quite honest, I am cutting down some 6x6 paper pad pages to 4x6 and 3x4. But I'm leaving a space in the center because I'm going to make a shaker pocket. I really wanted to include some sequins in this page because there are no sequins on the other side, and it's nice bright colors, and I have so many beautiful sequin mixes that have nice bright colors. So I wanted to bring in sequins on this side. Plus, it's been a long time since I did a shaker pocket on a pocket page layout, so I grabbed a couple of sequin mixes and just popped them there in the center to remind myself that I wanted to do that later. Now this is Scrap Madness, so of course we have a guest designer, and our designer for today is Betz Golden. Very excited to see what she has made for us today. And of course, my lovely friend Miranda Weber also will have a video up today. We have a video every single day this month, and some of them will be process videos like this one. Some of them will be DIY embellishments. Miranda does planning in her bullet journal. And some of them will be mixed media-y, someone will not. It's going to be a good mix of things, and I think it's going to be a lot of fun. So I hope you will join us for the rest of Scrap Madness this month as we endeavor to get a video out every single day. It is quite the task. I do have 5 kids. If you're new to my channel, had a lot of new people subscribing. It's really exciting. I do have 5 kids, and they range in ages from 5 to 14. So my youngest are twins, and they are quite often featured in layouts because they still let me take pictures. My oldest 2 are not avoidant of pictures, but they do tend to do activities that I can't bring the twins to, and so I don't always get pictures of them doing their activities. This pocket page is bright and colorful, but it also has pops of black, and that is intentional. That is to create some contrast on the page. It's also to bring a little bit of reference to the fact that some of the photos have dark lines in them because they're taken outside. You've got lots of shadowing, and so including some black in this spread really kind of speaks to it, and it makes it make sense. It kind of ties the photos in a little bit better with the layout itself. Now the main collection I'm using for this page is Pink Fresh Studios Simple and Sweet, which was last year's summer line. And I'm also bringing in lots of puffy stickers. I've got a little tiny Doodlebug pink doily on this page as well, and little ephemera pieces from that Simple and Sweet line. I'm even using the scraps that I cut down from those 6x6 to 4x6 and using them to mat some of my photos. This is a great thing about using smaller photos on pocket pages. I do have difficulty using smaller photos on layouts. I've done it before, and it's okay, but I do really like larger photos. So you're not likely to see me use tiny little photos, 1x1s or 2x2s even are a bit short for me. But I do really enjoy using slightly smaller photos on my pocket pages because they allow for a little bit more embellishment. I can have a little bit more fun prettifying the page, and that's exactly what I'm doing here. So I had this little banner in the ephemera pack, and I was like, I have got to get this on the page. This little tiny banner all by itself is not going to make it onto a layout, not just one little banner. So I was intent to get that on the page, and I did, so I was very excited about that. Now this page is a little eclectic. It's not terribly minimal. I know that's been the style lately for pocket pages, to go very, very minimal, and that's not me. I am not a minimalist by any stretch of the imagination, and while I don't really think I go overboard, okay, sometimes I go overboard, but most of the time I think I fall somewhere in the middle. And I like to embellish, but I don't want to over embellish. I do love puffy stickers though, so I'm bringing those in all around the page as much as possible. Now I have this little card to the left that I want to create a pocket out of, and I'm using 2 scraps of paper to create that pocket. And you're thinking, how's that gonna work? Because they're not full pieces of paper. What I'm going to do to create that pocket is I'm going to carefully tape this onto another 3x4 card, and that is going to help me create that pocket. Now for this photo in the center, I'm just again using scraps to mat it so that it stands up off of those lemons just a little bit and also covers them up, because lemons are not really my jam, if you can imagine. I do like the top title card though. Those black and white lemons almost look like florals, and I really like that. So I'm going to use this card, which is just a leftover piece that I'm not going to use. And I'm going to tape down very carefully this bottom section of paper so that I'm creating the pocket. I'm just using tape around the outside perimeter and not in the center. And that way I can take this journaling card and slip it right inside of the pocket, so you can pull it out and read the journaling if you would like to. And I think that's a really fun feature. I am trying to do more interactive pages this year, particularly on my pocket pages. I want to have more interactive elements that just make it more interesting to look through the album. Not just for my kids' sake, but also for me, because I get bored very, very easily. Now on this card, I wanted to keep it fairly simple because some of the other cards are pretty busy. So I just went ahead and taped my photo directly onto the 3x4 card, and then I will bring in a little bit of washi later on to decorate it with. But that's it. That'll be it for that card. These 2 photos I purposefully taped together a little wonky to give it a little bit more interest. I'm also not going to mat them because my background card is already white based, and the pictures themselves are very busy. So they're already going to stand up off that page. They don't really need a photo mat to do that. Now that I'm getting everything taped down, I'm going to bring in that black and white washi just to add a little more contrast onto this card, bring in that black and white in one more spot on the layout. Adding just a little word phrase sticker in there, and this one will be done. I mean, these cards are very, very simple intentionally, because altogether it's a lot of color, and so it's a lot to take in. I don't mind creating busy layouts. It doesn't really bother me, and in this case it's a 2-page layout, and the other side is very, very simple in nature. It's not overwhelming at all. It has a lot of white space on it, and if you haven't seen that, I'll link that below so you can see, and I'll have a still picture at the end that has both pages next to each other, so you can kind of get an idea of how I'm doing this one layout and a pocket page as a 2-page spread. This is a great way to do a 2-page spread if you have a ton of photos and you don't just want to pop them all on the page and fill up the page and not have any room left for embellishment. Using pocket pages as your second page is a great way to do that. Now I'm going to start working on my shaker pocket. I've got all of the cards into the page protector, and at first I had thought I was going to attach this piece on the inside, and so I taped the 2 circles together and then thought, nope, all the sequins are going to get stuck behind these circles. So instead, I opted to tape them onto the outside of the page protector, which you can do, works just fine. It's not going anywhere with double-sided tape. And just tape them so that you can't see the back behind the page protector. Using these 2 absolutely gorgeous Beagle Mom Scrap sequins, and I'm going to fill up that pocket with those sequins. But first I've grabbed out some of the larger pieces that was in one of the sequin packs, and I'm going to glue those inside behind the circles so that you have just a little bit more interest in there. The larger pieces are permanently attached, and so if all of the sequins fall to the bottom, there's still some interesting pieces at the top. So I'm going to fill that up really quickly with both of these sequin packs. One of them will get finished, the other one will just get heavily used. I absolutely love to do shaker pockets. I think they're a lot of fun. They're an unexpected element in your layout inside of your album. And so when people come to them like, oh, are those sequins? Oh, that's cool. And I think it just kind of catches them by surprise, and they're just very interested in, why did you put sequins in the middle of your page? Just for another fun element. So now that I've got all of my sequins in the page, I am going to go ahead and use my fuse tool to close up that pocket. Do make sure that you heat up your fuse tool for about 10 minutes before attempting to use it. Otherwise, it doesn't close completely, as is happening here. But that's it for this layout. Stay tuned for the still photos. And don't forget to check out our wonderful guest designer and Miranda Weber. Their links are in the description box below. Thanks so much for joining me, and until next time, bye!